I'm going to be real with y'all, though. This is an extremely hard game to evaluate and to predict because both these teams are so similar. I'm extremely curious. Let me know in the comment section who you got. Here we are again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for yet again our weekly Colorado and Coach Prime Time preview. However, I will say it seems like all that hype and attention and clout in general has fizzled out around this Colorado football team, mainly because lack of success in winning. I'll just address the elephant in the room. A lot of people have quit caring about this team and they've already written them off, rightfully so. And even me myself, I don't just get frustrated watching this Colorado football team. I get frustrated covering them because it's the same story but a different week. They're just not very good, and I'll leave it at that. And currently, as to when I'm speaking, they are riding a miserable 4-game losing streak. It's bad. And it's low-key kind of crazy how fast this ship came crashing and burning down because it was only, I'm going to remind y'all, about 6-7 weeks ago, Colorado was a top 25 team. But fast forward in time, they've now lost to Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, and Arizona in the last 5 weeks. And I know some of you are sitting there saying, well, Matt, that's only 4 teams. How's that 5 weeks? They had a bye week after the Stanford game. I don't know if there's a team in college football that needs a win more than this Colorado Buffalo team. And also, if they don't win another game, or my bad, what am I talking about? If they don't win this game, they have no shot of making a bowl game. And even though they're riding a 4-game losing streak, it looks awful for them. If they can somehow, some way muster up a win against Washington State and upset Utah, that means he'll get to a bowl game, and that is a huge success for Coach Prime in year one, at least in my humble opinion. And I'm going to remind every single one of you right now, I've said it before, and I'm going to continue to harp on this. Coach Prime and this Colorado football team, they've already overexceeded expectations in year one. I stated and made it evidently clear, it's documented on the channel. If they won 3 to 5 games in year one, major success. That should be the goal. They've already done that. Check. In year 2, I thought they should strive for 6 or 7 wins. In year 3, maybe 8. Everything right now is going according to plan. It's going to take a long time, and I know people ain't patient, but this is one of those situations where you've got to wait. We're getting a little too far ahead of ourselves. Let's lock in with tonight's video and tonight's topic, and that is Washington State. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, look no farther. This is the battle of the mid. You got Washington State, who is at a miserable 4-6, up against Colorado, who is also at a miserable 4-6. And by the way, what happened to this Washington State football team? For those of you who don't know, they was ranked high as number 13 this year. And now here they are, 4-6, kind of a similar story to Colorado. You had both teams who started out the season hotter than anyone, and now they've been colder than anyone. And now that I think about it, I stated only a few seconds ago, nobody needs to win more than this Colorado football team. But maybe Washington State does. Colorado's on a 4-game losing streak, right? Well, check this out. Washington State's on a 6-game losing streak. So you know what that means. Something's got to give. I'll tell you this right now. Washington State has been extremely hard for me personally to evaluate because they've had so many different games. They've had low-scoring games. They've had high-scoring games. It's a mix of everything. Whereas for Colorado, we know what they are. Pretty good offensive team outside of a game here or there. Defense, one of the worst in the nation. For Washington State, I guess I would say they're a mix of that. They're not very good at defense. Yeah, they've had their moments here and there, but for the vast majority, defense hasn't been too hot. As far as it goes for offense, yeah, they've been great some games, but they've also been awful. For example, Arizona beat them 44-6. And only a few weeks ago, Stanford held their offense to 7 points. Wait a minute. Hold on. I haven't even pulled it up yet. What is the line for this game? Without checking, I'm going to assume, I'm going to say, I believe, yes, at Washington State, I believe. Probably Washington State's favored by a couple points. All right, pulling it up right here. And yep, I was right. Washington State, 4-point favorites. Interesting. Considering they've lost 6 in a row. We all know how Colorado doesn't like to run the ball too much. Well, Washington State, they don't like running the ball at all. Washington State's going to live by the passing game, and they're going to die by it. And luckily enough for them, against Colorado, that's how you beat them, passing the ball. We've seen it since day one. All of these teams that play Colorado, they have so much success through the air. And with both of these teams not being very good at defense, I think it's more than fair to say this is going to be a high-scoring matchup. I just don't see a case and scenario where Colorado wins this game or Washington State wins this game 20-17. No. At bare minimum, we're getting in the 30s. But here's what it comes down to for me. I think the X factor in this ball game is a Colorado offensive line. Because I'll tell you right now, I think Washington State's going to put up at least 30 points on this Colorado defense. So with that being said, it's going to come down to this. All right, Colorado offense, can you match Washington State? Can you go score for score with Cameron Ward, which is a quarterback for Washington State, and keep up with them? Well, I know Shadur Sanders can do it, but it goes back to this. If the offensive line doesn't block and Shadur Sanders doesn't have any time, he can't do it. He doesn't even have an opportunity to do it. How many times have I said this? I don't care if you got Tom Brady back there. If you don't block, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Offensive line has got to block. I don't expect Colorado to run the ball or even see run success, so it's all up to Shadur Sanders. He'll probably get sacked about 4 to 6 times per usual, but he needs to make some crazy, unreal Superman plays. And also, Shadur Sanders, some of those sacks are on him because he holds the ball a little bit too long. That's a bad habit he needs to get away from. I get it. He's trying to make a play, but sometimes the best play is just to throw the ball out of bounds and live to see another down. I'll show it to you right here. On the year, Shadur Sanders and Cameron Ward, similar stats and numbers. Both have over 3,000 passing yards, both have over 20 touchdowns, and both have under 5 interceptions. Pretty good quarterbacks, but yet again, I'm diverting back to this. I just want to see how this Colorado offensive line holds up against Washington State's front seven. I think Washington State's front seven can get pressure on Shadur Sanders, but come on now. I'm not going to sit up here and try to even portray to you for a split second that Washington State's front seven is equivalent to Oregon's. You're talking about a different beast in Oregon, but I'll put it to you like this. If Colorado's O-line can't block Washington State, season's over. At that point in time, it's like, all right, pack it up, boys. We're just going to get ready for next year. No disrespect to Washington State, but come on, man. It's Washington State. I expect this to be your stereotypical Pac-12 shootout. I believe this game is going to get into the 40s, maybe even the 50s. It's going to come down to more than likely who has the ball last and who makes less turnovers. And that's the thing, too. What about this Colorado defense? It'd be awesome if they could help out the offense and maybe get a pick six, maybe get a scoop and score, something like that. And that's why Shadur Sanders feels like he has to do so much because the defense hasn't helped him out too much this year. But if his defense maybe got a pick six or helped him out, got a couple of stops, he would take some of those dump-offs. He would throw the ball out of bounds, do stuff like that. You're not going to see too many stops in this game whatsoever, and I want to throw this in there as well. I feel like, and I'm getting the sense of, there's a lot of pressure on this Colorado team heading into this game. And I know what some of you sitting there saying, Matt, what in the crap are you talking about pressure? This team's 4-6, there's no pressure. Matt, they're not playing for anything. It's not a top 25 matchup. It's not a championship game. Look, I get those points. It's a fair argument. But this is one of those very rare games that Colorado has a great shot of winning. And with that being said, I think the pressure goes back to Colorado and maybe they tense up in this game and make some mistakes they normally don't make. Whereas on the flip side, Washington State, they're going to let their nuts hang. I'm going to be real with y'all though. This is an extremely hard game to evaluate and to predict because both these teams are so similar. I'm extremely curious. Let me know in the comment section who you got. All week long, I've been leaning towards Washington State. That's what my gut's been telling me. And I'm going to go with my gut feeling. I got Washington State winning this ball game. High scoring, though. Extremely high scoring. I'm going to say Washington State 52. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. 52. Colorado 42. We're going to have a shootout. There's going to be a lot of points. And oh, yeah, I almost forgot to throw this in there. I knew it, but I just didn't speak on it. This game isn't Saturday, guys. This game is Friday night, so clear your schedule. I love when Colorado plays on Friday night because it gives me something to look forward to at night. I can't wait for this game. I can't wait. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But